The Declaration of Independence is the document that founded the United States of America. While the population has grown by more than 100-fold, it is what granted us the freedom from Great Britain. The writing and then signing of the Declaration was at the time high treason, and had the colonials lost the war, everyone who signed would have ultimately met their demise. So let's take a look at what it took to bring an idea of freedom to the fruition of a declaration. What initiated the Declaration of Independence coming into existence? What is today the United States was once under the rule of Great Britain. Fighting began in the colonies in the spring of 1775 because of taxes and tariffs being unjustly instituted by the King of England. In January of 1776, colonialist Thomas Paine wrote Common Sense, a pamphlet on his views of freedom, saying that independence from Britain was a natural right. It sold more than 150,000 copies in the first month of publication. In March of 1776, North Carolina became the first colony to vote in favor of independence from Great Britain. 7 other colonies quickly followed suit. This all set the stage, and on June the 7th, at the convention of the Continental Congress, Virginia delegate Robert Lee Harper introduced a motion calling for complete independence from Britain. A 5-member committee was then formed and shouldered with the task of writing the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Roger Sherman, Benjamin Franklin, Robert Livingston were all picked to write the Declaration of Independence. The truth would come out years later, however, from Jefferson. And in his own words, in 1823, Jefferson said, "The other members of the committee unanimously pressed upon myself alone to undertake the draft. I consented, drew it, but before I reported it to the committee, I communicated separately to Dr. Franklin and Mr. Adams requesting their corrections. I then wrote a fair copy, reported it to the committee, and from them, unaltered, to Congress." Once the consensus was reached amongst the 5, it was presented to the Continental Congress. A 3-day debate ensued, and once a motion was made on July the 2nd to adopt the Declaration of Independence, independence was formally declared. But it wasn't until the morning of July the 4th that the final draft was settled on. In the end, there were 86 changes made to the draft submitted by the committee, and it was shortened by roughly 25%. The first public reading of the Declaration took place 4 days later on July the 8th, in front of what would become Independence Hall. Finally, though, many believe the Declaration was signed on July 4th. That is false. The Declaration was signed on August the 2nd. It was set as the signing day so Congress could meet and celebrate their newfound independence. Still not all signatures were obtained on that day. It was in late summer of 1777 before the last signature of the delegate was obtained. And there were still a few beyond that who refused to sign it altogether. Of the signers of the Declaration, the oldest was Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania at age 70. And the 2 youngest at age 26 were Thomas Lynch Jr. and Edward Rutledge, both representing South Carolina. So today I hope you've learned a little more about the document that started it all here in America. One man made a motion that early June day to charge 5 men with drafting the document that set the United States of America into existence. After the completion and the debate, they settled on a document signing it into law, declaring our independence from Great Britain. If it were not for the brave men who stood up to the tyrant regime and said no more, we might have all been eating crumpets and sipping tea while listening to God Save the Queen this afternoon.